Hello YouTube, this is Occasional Linguist. This short video is about transcriptions and problems of phonetics. Here we go. Here are the contents. Point 1. Narrow and broad transcriptions. Point 2. Problems. Point 3. Other use of the IPS symbols. Let's start from point 1. Narrow and broad transcriptions. 1.1. Narrow transcriptions. Narrow transcriptions are very detailed description and symbolization of speech sounds. They tend to be used in research papers and technical books than dictionaries and foreign language textbooks. They use many more symbols than the broader transcriptions I'm going to talk about next. 1.2. Broad transcriptions. This method of transcriptions is more like an abstractional representation of the narrow transcriptions. You can see this type of writing in dictionaries and foreign language textbooks. 1.3. Comparisons and samples. Sample 1. The English word pit can be transcribed in those ways according to how the word is pronounced. Here we have 3 examples. The first one sounds like this. Pit, pit. The second one, pit, pit. The third one, pit, pit. They all sound a little bit different, but if you take away all the small details, what's left? Common elements. So we write it with a slash, voiceless bilabial plosive, followed by a short vowel and voiceless alveolar plosive. We call the former the narrow transcriptions and the latter the broad transcription. Let me illustrate another point with the sample 2. The English word cut has often been broadly transcribed with an inverted V for the vowel, as you can see on this slide, but the actual sound of the vowel can be different according to different accents. For example, in the UK it's often pronounced like this: cut, cut, but in the States it's said to be like this: cot, cot. You can transcribe these differences with narrow transcriptions, but the broadest transcription can often look the same. Let's move on to the point 2, problems. 2.1, preferences. If you have a few English dictionaries, you might notice that the set of pronunciation symbols are different, even if they are published in more or less the same year. This is due to the preference of their pronunciation editors. This is especially true for vowels. A good example is the diphthong of the word, such as sight and kite. In Longman's pronunciation dictionary, an open front and rounded vowel is used, while in the Oxford BBC guide they use an inverted V for the starting point. 2.2, confusions. This is just another example of many problems. Dr. Stanley Whitley pointed out in the Journal of the IPA in 2003 that in some literatures of Spanish language, the representation of the R sounds can be difficult and confusing, even if a distinction can be made between broad and narrow transcriptions because of the IPA's policy that R can represent any R sounds. Finally, point 3. Other use of the IPS symbols. Now, this is more of a fun. The IPS symbols are used as trademark logos in Japan. Let me show you a few examples. This is a shopping complex called Souk, just outside Kahimakari train station. This is an Italian restaurant, a kitchen in Ichikawa City. This is a beauty shop called Jill, but it's transcribed or designed like zeal. This is the end of this video. Thank you.